If you were trapped inside a crocodile-infested cave, what would you do? In this video, we follow a bunch of young adults on their way to a cave in the Australian rainforest. Now, the reason why we already know that they will probably be killed by a dangerous animal is because they are in Australia. But we start out with two Japanese tourists instead that have seemingly lost their way inside the same jungle in which our characters will soon be trapped as well. Rest assured, apart from being lost, I have to admit they don't look too underprepared. They have a GPS device, wear good shoes and long pants, and they also have a map. I have no idea how they got lost, but they somehow did it. Jesus Christ. As if being lost is not enough, the man has to get a bit pissy and walks away as if he was the woman in this relationship. His wife, on the other hand, doesn't seem to notice. That's bad. Because if you're lost together, then your big advantage is being together. However, if you lose each other, then hysterically running around trying to find your boo is not a good idea, because you could fall and trip. If you injure yourself deep in a rainforest and you have no way to contact anyone, you are done for. I once hiked through the jungle in Asia wearing flip-flops and short pants. That was the most idiotic thing I have ever done. But since I have started writing these videos, I know what's up. You see, I see people die every day in my job. So, watch and learn. So 2 are gone, but it doesn't matter because we got 5 more characters to follow and see what mistakes they do. Our 5 heroes are these people right here. 2 couples and 1 fresh dude. They're old friends and catch up with each other over beers and drinks while talking about stuff that you would talk about in Australia. They plan on exploring a cave system in the jungle nearby. When they drive over the next day, Yolanda, this girl right here, points out the massive crocodile sunbathing on the shore on a nearby canal. No shit, that alone would convince me to turn around and leave. After all, exploring an unexplored cave in the Australian rainforest in a crocodile-infested area without Crocodile Dundee is not inviting. But Cash, this guy, pulls out a sweet gun to calm her down, and me too. We can all agree that this is a quintessential asset when going on a dumb trip like that. When they arrive at the cave, we have to admit that they seem to be quite okay prepared. We have seen worse on this channel, for sure. However, I would opt for long sleeve upper body wear instead of a t-shirt, especially for entering a dark, moist and probably cold cave. There are many deadly things in Australia, not just crocodiles.
Come to Australia, you might accidentally get killed.
I would be just as worried about snakes, frogs and spiders. Hence, I would prepare my clothing in a way that there is as little skin exposed as possible. But for now, let us enter the cave. Okay, so first of all, let me point out that arbitrarily entering any unexplored cave without sufficient level of expertise is not a smart idea. If you do that, in the very least, let somebody else know. If you don't make it back, you can be sure somebody will come and look for you in the next 24 hours. And if we're honest, there is always something that can happen. Safety first. Now, one thing that I'd like to point out is how these people are touching the cave walls when making their way through. That's a bad idea. Unless you are sure that there isn't anything dangerous lurking, you shouldn't touch these walls without wearing protective wear. And this isn't just the case in Australia. Although I would argue, especially there, you should be extra cautious. One bite of the wrong thing and it's over. But perhaps that would have been better than what is lying up ahead.
What if we got lost down here?
And no one knows we're down here, right?
I don't know.
Yep. That is his signal to turn around and leave, my friends. That's like my friends inviting me to just one drink. Okay, it won't work. Plus, this dude is so confident even though he has never been here before. That's fishy, okay? Go home. As our characters make their way through, they find a skeleton of a goat. That's a pretty big animal. But considering it could have fallen into the pit before, it could make sense. But then, it would have died a long time ago. If I were any of these people, I would have taken a better look at the bones. If this animal was killed or eaten up by a carnivore, we should be able to see any signs of that, and then obviously make a decision if it's okay to continue or not. None of them consider the possibility of facing a crocodile in here, and none of them have considered what to do in case of a cave-in neither. As we heard from Victor before, nobody knows that they are in here. If you were concerned about that after having entered just 20 minutes ago, How about returning and contact someone as soon as you got mobile connection? Be your own agent, okay? Don't follow the crowd. As of now, I can attest that these people did not think stuff through, but it gets even better. Before they arrive at their destination, they come by a tiny water cascade. That isn't something unusual in caves. Usually it's just rainwater collected by the ground that sinks through and re-emerges just like that. However, if it was dry for a prolonged period, this wouldn't be here. Therefore, it could mean that it is currently raining, which of course should alarm you. Both characters though are curious but eventually just brush it off as nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, it started to truly pour down and rain up above, hence the small cascade. Our heroes don't know any of that of course and march forward until they arrive here. That's a beautiful place, not gonna lie. Get a few shots and then turn around and leave. But jokes aside, this is a stunning underground lake. For the small inconvenience of getting here, this is totally worth it. What do you think? But remembering the golem-like creatures from Harry Potter 6, I would not touch this water with a 10-foot pole.
Let me hold your hand.
Oh, okay. Well, that wouldn't be me, and if I were any of the friends, I would swiftly point out that we are still in crocodile territory, and this lake looks like a pretty sweet home to me. It's the perfect place for crocodiles. The water too is very cloudy, making it difficult to see anything. And if all of that wasn't enough, crocodiles are primarily nocturnal hunters, meaning their eyes are very well developed for such environments. As the men cross the lake for no apparent reason, the other three characters are being more reasonable and explore the side where they have entered. Once our two characters arrive on the other side, they once again find another water cascade pouring down. Again, this is a sign, but doesn't necessarily have to be one. At the same time, Jennifer observes the water. That would be me. In fact, I don't think I would have let any of my friends enter the water before pointing out the dangers and precautions one should have taken before going in. At the same time, the floodlight runs out of battery. Of course. Now, that shouldn't happen if you were preparing for a cave exploration days ago. Also, why just carry one? That's just stupid. And the headlamps they wear look more like stuff you would order from China with an estimated shipping time of 6 months and 24 days. The quality of those and the children flashlights they use definitely don't justify coming in here with one floodlight and no extra batteries. That's a big L. I do not approve. As if that wasn't enough though, Jennifer points out that there seems to be something in the water.
Hey, I think there's something in the water.
If I heard this, I would move my ass out of this lake faster than the laws of physics would allow. But the men in this video are obviously not in a rush, because instead of moving out, they stare at the wall while listening to the menacing rush behind it. Looks like Poseidon himself has funneled a generous amount of water from a different dimension into this lake. Who knows, maybe we're actually watching a cleverly disguised science fiction movie rather than a survival flick. Point being, this river came out of nowhere. But if you have an idea, let me know in your creative comment. I'm burning to know. Our characters are swept away and can just barely save themselves ashore. However, one of the guy's backpacks got lost in the stream of water, and another guy plans now to find it. Justification? The keys of the car are in there. Now that's a bucket full of horseshit, okay? You just barely survived an underground flooding and you have no idea to which extent yet. Finding the keys to your car above ground is nowhere near as important as getting out of here ASAP. Instead of looking for the backpack, you should assess the situation first. Is anyone injured? Where is the exit? Is the exit flooded as well? Is the water rising? All very important questions to answer first. I would straight up strip off my clothes quickly. Everyone who has been to a cave before knows how cold it gets down there. Combine this with so close and you are ready for hypothermia. Bring your clothes, put them aside and make a plan with everyone involved. Right now the water keeps rising. They decided it's best to get over to where they came from and dive underneath section by section until they get to the point where they have entered the cave. The only problem is that Jennifer has seen something in the water before. She isn't a child. If someone points out something potentially deadly, you should maybe listen. Expecting the worst is rarely a bad starting point. Be the what if person, not the sorry afterwards person. But it goes without saying that regardless of having crocos in here, if the water keeps rising, we would either drown or get eaten up regardless. So leaving the cave as soon as you can has the highest priority. Just keep an eye on what's happening around you, stay close to each other, and don't be stupid if you can.
Victor? Where'd he go?
Well, there is always someone like this, and I, being the honest guy that I am, have no sympathy for that. In the very least, he could have alarmed everyone else that he has found the backpack with the keys in it. Victor vanishes and the group looks out for him, screaming his name, but he isn't there anymore. Like a real kamikaze, he disappeared. Not for long though, he suddenly reappears, screaming for his life as he is fighting a huge saltwater crocodile. They are just barely able to save him. In the process, they even fished out a torso from an obvious dead person that has obviously seen better days as well. And if we look closely, we see it's a Japanese guy from the beginning. Hey, how's it going, my friend? Victor survives, but is heavily damaged by the attack. No wonder. Here's a brief Croco 101. As mentioned, crocos have good night vision and are nocturnal beings. They also have a very good sense of smell and are primarily ambush hunters. That means they patiently wait and then strike lightning fast. If that isn't enough, saltwater crocodiles have the strongest bite that has ever been measured. We are talking 3,700 pounds per square inch, or over a ton per square centimeter. For comparison, that is roughly 4 times stronger than the bite of a tiger or lion. Let that sink in for a second. Oh, and male saltwater crocodiles grow to a length of 20 feet or 6 meters. Happy birthday. Victor is one lucky dude, but he doesn't seem very well. The bigger problem, apart from dying Victor, is how the hell do we get out of here? One big disadvantage is that now the group is split up into 2, each group being on one respective side of the lake. The water is still rising and that inevitably calls for action. Eric, the main guy, insists of diving out in tag team fashion, including him and his buddy, the fresh dude. The plan is to get out of there, call for help, pick up the gun, re-enter and save the remaining 3 characters. But hold up, why would you bring a gun if you just leave it in the car? That's not just dumb, that's downright reckless. With a gun, this situation could have been a lot more comfortable. Leaving the pistol in the car, a fatal mistake, ladies and gentlemen, another big L for the team. But Eric has brought his magic survival toothpick, okay? So no worries, everything is under control. On a more serious side though, this knife is pathetic. This may be a good fit for meat carvings before a grill session, but not fighting off predators 3 times the size of you. But we can't be choosy, so I would prefer this over my bare hands. The plan as of now, use the torso from before as a distraction and then swim quickly to the tunnel and get out of there to pick up the items I have mentioned. But how do you successfully fight a crocodile? Well, naturally you should avoid this as much as you possibly can. These animals are not a joke. But in case of our characters here, I have researched a few tips. First, it is good to know that the jaw of a crocodile is more sensitive than the fingertips of humans, meaning albeit a very short knife that Eric has, if you use it right, you may be able to fight off a croco. Aim at the eyes. They are the most vulnerable parts of these animals. Usually on land, you have a better chance than in water, but in our case, this is not possible. Making our way through the flooded cave in a tag team is essential. And lastly, fight like crazy. No joke. When a croco attacks you, it will most likely pull you underwater and roll itself. You got one chance, okay? Make your punches count. Additionally, if your team member is attacked instead of you, fight the croco as well. Aim at the eyes. Successfully gouging them, be it with your own fingers, has a high chance to scare away the predator. Good luck. While they dive relentlessly and get ahead well, Eric's leg gets stuck in between a rock. He can barely free himself and almost drowns. Only with a great deal of luck, he is able to release his leg. The bigger problem, however, is that now they have lost each other. That's fatal. If one should get attacked by a crocodile now, the chances of survival are very slim. It was also Eric who carries the small knife, not the dude. Therefore, it should have been him to lead. If it was the dude who would have gotten stuck, it would have been safer for Eric to dive backwards and look for him, as he has the means to defend himself. But now, being apart from each other, each somewhere unknown in this cloudy water, it's very difficult to find each other again. But is there a way to avoid being lost underwater with low visibility? Yes, there is. Divers call this item a guideline, a line which guides you back if you should become lost. Now, our heroes don't have that, of course, that much is sure, but they do have the gear to improvise. Remember at the start of this movie, they climbed down into the cave. Well, they used climbing ropes back then, meaning they do have enough rope for quite a distance. Now naturally the ropes aren't long enough to connect both ends of the tunnel, but they are enough per each overhead section. So what I mean is, for each section they could have fixated the rope at the starting point of the section, while the front diver is laying out the rope until the overhead section finishes. That way the second diver behind could never lose the diver in the front, because he could always just follow the guiding rope. But in the movie this doesn't happen, right? Causing the characters to be separated and the dude unfortunately be attacked by another crocodile. The game is over for this guy as well. Before we see how Eric responds to that, we cut back to the two women and the injured guy back in the cave. Victor, the guy with the injury, suffers an asthma attack. His inhaler though is in the backpack on the other side. Even worse, Yolanda, the girl with the inhaler, throws it pretty badly. What was that? That's how my girlfriend throws snowballs, and she has never seen snow before. I'm talking about that level of badness, okay? But anyway, the only way for her to rescue her boyfriend now is to deliver it herself, and she does so. By the way, if you for whatever reason ever need to cross crocodile-infested waters, move very, very calmly and don't splash, okay? If you can't do that, then dive in would probably be the best option you have. That was close. Glad this wasn't me, but she makes it over and can save her boyfriend. For now. At the same time, Jennifer feels an airflow allowing her to discover another corridor leading further into the cave. But before she can act, Eric returns. He didn't make it and gave up after the dude has been killed, as we all know. Now while Jennifer stays back to take care of Victor, Yolanda and Eric go to explore the new part to see if there is a way out. Now that should have been the plan before trying to dive half an hour through the crocodile-infested waters. But before they go though, Yolanda tells her dying boyfriend that she's pregnant. She also adds that she tried waiting for the best moment to share the happy news. Now I don't think she was able to achieve that, but I leave the judgment to you. So when both of them tried to find the exit, Jennifer and Victor notice that the water keeps rising. They agree to make their way further up to avoid any new attacks. Good choice. In great pain, they make it up. Having arrived in safety, Jennifer goes through the photos of the crew from the night before. She smiles and enjoys what she sees, until she doesn't. At first, I wondered why she gets so upset looking at a photo of her boyfriend and her female friend. They all get along, but hey, she's a woman. Okay, so she probably got that sixth sense. Well, I guess we will see. Jennifer then spots the backpack with the car keys in it. Again, for some odd reason she decides to risk her life to recover it. I have shared my opinion on that when Victor tried the same thing before ending up as a burden for the whole group. Well, it seems like now it's her turn, right? Whatever you might think about this though, this move, I don't think it's a good idea. Remember, we are in a crocodile-infested area. What's so hard to understand about that? I don't really know. Screw the car key, okay? You have bigger problems to solve than recovering a key of a vehicle that you can't reach. But she does it anyway. She enters the lake even, picks up the backpack, rushes out because the croco is about to attack, and of course, she slips and hits her head. At the same time, the poor injured Victor comes down to rescue her. He heaves her up but hears a strange sound from the back. What could that be? I better turn around and keep staring at the water for no reason. And the next one, completely avoidable, but tell me, what do you think? 3 people left. A short while later, Yolanda and Eric join back. The next drama is already cooking up, as we know. As they cross a small section of the lake, Jennifer is probably already plotting her case against them. And sure enough, as they arrive back and receive the sad news about Victor's death, they are also confronted with the cheating allegation Jennifer has cooked up. Boom. Well, what's your answer to that, cowboy?
It wasn't an affair.
It wasn't an affair. It was only a mistake. Oh well, I'm sorry for accusing you. I didn't know it was only a mistake. Please excuse me, okay? Looking at Jennifer at this moment, she was probably considering to push them backwards into the lake. I wouldn't blame her. But there is a better way, believe me. You see, we want to get out of here, therefore we need a better strategy. If we take on the shoes of Jenny for a second, we're actually in a pretty good spot now, because now we don't have to worry about anybody else but ourselves. We can safely sacrifice any of these two without overthinking too much, and that's a huge advantage. After all, our boyfriend has impregnated our friend. That's right, her child is not Victor's, but Eric's. What a nice extra twist. I really like this part, for some reason. Don't ask me why, but it's a nice twist. Now, what I would do is carefully use those two to shield off any Croco attack. I would do that in playing the manipulative victim while remaining cooperative without doing anything that could lead to my own death. Here's what I would do. I would request a knife from Eric. He would naturally respond that he is the most capable person having it, and that is true. Therefore, he should lead the way. Perfect. Then I would go into the middle, blaming Yolanda at the same time for the whole thing because it's easy to blame her now, and at this point, have her take the spot at the rear. Boom, we're safe. But where are we heading? Well, during the discussion about it cheating, Eric spots an area on the surface of the lake where sun rays appear to come through. Now that's a bit odd, but let's roll with it. So with my strategy from before, I would make my way over comfortably in the middle of these two. Now that doesn't eliminate the risk, but it does minimize it. However, if you don't want to use your cheating friends as bait because you are a better person than I am, then there is a second choice. Bait the crocodile while being on the shore and try to kill it off. We don't know how many crocodiles are in the water, but if we can kill one, we could bait the others with the carcass of it, repeating the process. In any way, each croco less equals a better chance for us to survive. When the trio swims to the sun-beaming area, the predator attacks Eric and death rolls him. To death. Yeah. It's game over for him as well. Two left. Will those two make it alive or not? Well, we will see. They are just barely able to swim through and arrive at the weird intersection that in my opinion looks like a crocodile nest, just when you thought things couldn't get worse. However, through a tiny slippage on the side, they are able to enter a jungle pond and are back under the blue sky of Australia. Congratulations. But it's not over yet. Nope. The last part is a little mundane, but since we got this far, we should finish it off so you know exactly what happens in the end. So both girls get to the car. At this point, I take it back, okay? Good one for Jenny to have retrieved the car keys, although it cost life, so we could argue about that. Anyway, as they enter the car and start to drive, the awkward silence is even more uncomfortable than being stuck with giant water dragons. Not 5 minutes later, they crash into the very same lake where they have just escaped from because of a tree obstructing the passage. How about that? Now, I don't want to go into details here, but driving as fast as her on this very off-road street takes the cake for me. Jesus, that was the silliest move so far. They crash into the water and are firmly stuck. It takes a while, but they remember the gun inside the car compartment. But instead of shooting at the window and escape like James Bond would, they don't. Okay, they wait for the crocodile to open the door for them. I mean, why not? Both escape to the shore but are attacked one last time. Jenny is able to shoot more or less successfully and saves them both. Wow. Yeah, that was the movie. Pretty decent, and I learned a lot more about crocodiles than I had expected. Now let me know what you think about this video and about the movie. If you have enjoyed it, binge another one. How about that? And leave a like. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Peace.